Hello. Today is Sunday, September, I think it's the 18th. I'm not sure exactly what date. And just found a penny. 1982. I'm just at the base of the summit of Mount Hood. It's kind of weird up here because I can smell sulfur. I got a real strong smell of sulfur. As soon as I got to that peak down there, and now that I'm up here, the smell is really, it's not super strong, but it's strong enough that you notice it. This is about 10,000 foot elevation right here, or so I'm told. I met a guy on the way up who had GPS, and where I met him was right down there at that peak right there, and it was 9,780. So he told me that this is about 10,000 right here. And this is the highest I've ever come on Mount Hood. I've come up here solo. I got these North Face. I picked them up at Dick's Sporting Goods for $49. They're pretty good. Not bad at all. The soles aren't the greatest. You can see the soles ripping off of this one, but they're pretty comfortable, pretty good for this trek. I started at Timberline, but I think you can see down there. There's a huge amount of water flowing out of this glacier right here, down below here. It's pretty cool. Quite a rush. I think I'm the only person up here right now at this elevation. I met two guys on the way up who said they were going to try to summit and didn't try to do it because the snowpack was too loose. But I'm going to take a little break here and see how I feel. Chant some Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, chant some Japa. It's just a nice little setting right here. It's nice and flat. You got the view of Mount Rainier. I carry my bead bag up here with me. I've been drinking glacier water on the way up. I don't like to carry water with me. I don't like to carry extra weight. But I've been drinking that glacier water. And that's pretty clean, pretty tasty. I wish I would have brought some rice cakes, so I guess I'm back in the truck. Pretty amazing up here. I got a little bit of a headache, and I think it's probably from the altitude. I started to get a little bit of a headache about 9,600 feet. So, anyways, for you who don't know what I'm going to do, or what I do on a regular basis, what I'm going to do right now, this is what is called a mala. And this mala consists of 108 beads. These are Tulsi beads. It's a kind of a wood made from the sacred plant called tulsi or tulasi. Tulsi plant is an incarnation of the great devotee of Lord Krishna, and she incarnated as a pastime, or what is called a leela, in the land of Vrindavan. And there's a whole story. I'm not going to go into that. Maybe I'll tell the story another time. What I'm going to talk to you about right now is Japa. And Japa is the process mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavat Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the yoga system, the yoga science. Or rather, details the science of yoga. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that among sacrifice, I am Japa, Japosmi. So it is highly recommended by Krishna, even himself recommends in the Bhagavad Gita to chant Japa. And so what I do, and what the system that I follow, is the system of the Gaudiya Vaisnava system, or Gaudiya Parampara system, which is a disciplic chain going back all the way to Lord Sri Krishna, and more recently to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated the system of Sankirtan. Sankirtan or Harinam. Yajna or sacrifice. So that yajna is performed by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is mentioned in the Vedas. And Lord Chaitanya made this mantra available for everyone, one and all human beings, all living entities for that matter, can benefit from the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this mantra goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So mantra means meditation. It means mind control. It means becoming very peaceful. What in Sanskrit language is known as Shanti, controlling the mind and senses. And this is actually what the system of yoga is all about, controlling the mind and controlling the senses. And reconnecting. Yoga is all about reconnecting with Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the person who is full of all opulences. So we personalists, we recognize that the ultimate source is person. The ultimate source is Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. Lord Krishna is the source of all living entities. And so our duty as yogis, as practitioners of yoga, is to reconnect with Lord Krishna, who is the ultimate source of all living beings. In fact, the ultimate source of everything. So the system of yoga is very scientific, and its chanting of Hare Krishna is a very sublime method for reawakening our latent Krishna consciousness. Absolute consciousness, Param consciousness, Brahman consciousness. When I say that, I mean the ultimate consciousness, the highest level of consciousness that we can attain. Knowing ourselves in the ultimate sense. beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the stimulation of the material senses. The system of yoga is so profound. I'm talking about the system of yoga that's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. I'm not talking about the Bikram yoga, go and look for some hot chicks to hook up with at Bikram yoga. I mean, if that's your thing, I'm not knocking it, but, I'm talking about real yoga, the real scientific system of yoga, which is linking the self, the consciousness of the living being, the animatrix of the body, which is consciousness, so far as I can tell, so far as modern science is described, but as far as the Vedas are concerned, or the Puranas and the supplementary commentary to the Vedas, consciousness is the ultimate reality beyond the body, and that consciousness continues after the body is finished. And that consciousness is driven by thought. Or I should say, the position of the consciousness is driven by thought. So this chanting of Hare Krishna allows us to come back into a position where we're not influenced by external influences. In other words, we're not dictated by external elements. We come into the realm of the heart and we become dictated by divinity. And that divinity guides us. And when I say divinity, I mean personal divinity. And that personal divinity resides within the heart of all living beings. The Sanskrit language is known as Paramatma, or Vishnu, who resides within the heart alongside the individual living being. And so by chanting Hare Krishna, we can actually perceive that to be a fact, and we can hear. Paramatma can also be translated as super soul. We can hear the super soul speaking to us, the individual soul. Super soul means the soul who is the soul of everything. We're the soul of the body. The body is, I don't want to say like the body is the self, but talking about Atma. Body means, Atma means body, mind, and soul. Body, mind, consciousness. Can also mean the intelligence. Bhagavad Gita breaks down the material elements and it breaks down the spiritual elements. So it says the material elements are, see if I can remember the Sanskrit. Earth, air, water, fire, ether. Ether means space. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. Bhumir, Apanalo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhir, Eva. So that's the Sanskrit. So that that can be taken when compounded together with the addition of the jiva as jivatma. And that jivatma is the self within the material world. The purified jiva actually has spiritual body, which is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Satchit Ananda Vigraha, purified consciousness. Pure bliss. Sat means truth. Chit means knowledge. Ananda means bliss, unending bliss. So that's our actual nature as jivas, beyond the material limitations. So that simple understanding of Satchidananda, reality, the bliss of the self, that eternal reality of self-consciousness can be awakened by the systematic process of chanting Hare Krishna. And the way that we do that is by this mala, chanting on Japa. And on the mala that I showed you, there's 108 beads, and each bead is one mantra. And that mantra that I spoke to you earlier, I speak that mantra on each bead. So when I actually chant, I chant it for you very slowly. But when I actually chant, I chant very concentrated, and I chant quickly, but so that I'm pronouncing each syllable of each word. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, 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 Rama, Hare, Rama, 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 Hare, Hare. So I'll just demonstrate one round of japa. And I like to accompany for myself. Not everybody does this, and the acharyas recommend it to various degrees depending on the level of one's practice. But I personally recommend this practice of breath along with the mantra, so that I'm chanting basically on a 4 count, 4 rounds, or 4 recitations of the mantra, and then breath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Inhale through the nose, full breath, and that's kind of like a pranayama, which is another aspect of yoga. So I take that deep breath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then it's just all about hearing, chanting, and hearing. So I'm chanting the syllables that I hear them nicely, that I'm loud enough that I understand what I'm saying. And that mantra is really powerful. I can feel it immediately affect my consciousness. I close my eyes, and I try to keep my back straight. I'm sitting here kind of in a semi-lotus position. And the rock here, it's a little sandy, so it's not that rough. Nice. Excuse me. Excuse me while I clear my throat and spit. Hope you're not offended by that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it's roughly about four mantras for each breath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.